Hello and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, yesterday was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, as it seems to be with entrepreneurship. And this is something that I have been working through. It feels like the last 2 months where something good will happen and then I'll be asked of something, my nervous system will shut down, and then something good will happen and then my nervous system will start to shut down. And so I've resorted to doing a lot of tapping and reminding myself that I am okay. And I will actually repeat to myself, generally out loud, we're okay, as I'm tapping. Now, full disclosure, I tried tapping years ago. Was not for me because I found that when I wasn't able to move through something, I would tap myself harder and harder and harder, and that just kind of felt like a form of self-abuse. So stopped it. And now it's more like a coaxing, almost like when you're holding a baby, you would pat a baby on its back, right? Just it's more of a mothering thing. And so I'll find myself just when I feel my nervous system start to freak out, I will start to tap and say to myself repeatedly, we're okay. We're okay. This is all going to be okay, right? Just to really reset, because I have been stretched quite a bit in the last couple of months with all the things that we're doing in the different businesses, as well as having the kids home for the summer and traveling. And so my nervous system has been a little bit all over the place, but I know the beauty of feeling the emotions and letting them go and moving through and adapting. And that was an episode that I talked about. I talked about adaptability on a previous episode. And so yesterday we hired our first sales member for one of our companies. And it was a really great way that it happened because I had put it out there on LinkedIn and I just kind of left it to God, the universe, and put it up there and said, you know what, the right person for the position is going to come along. It is commission based. I was very excited about it. And I talked through it with my husband as well as my brother. My brother has been really my go-to business mentor, because he has had his own business for almost, maybe not 30, because he worked with my dad for a while. So probably about 20 years he's been on his own. Maybe less than that. Maybe 15 since my dad retired, give or take. 15 or 20. 15 to 20. Since my dad retired, my brother's been essentially on his own, running his business and scaling it and growing it. And so I do a lot of back and forth with my brother. We, for a number of reasons, I think we talk 4 or 5 times a week. We have weekly meetings where we check in with each other, just to make sure, that saying iron sharpens iron is exactly where we're at. And so I was talking to him yesterday because I was messaging with our new team member on LinkedIn. She had sent me her resume and she was asking me a couple of questions, and it happened to be someone that I went to school with years ago. And so we're going back and forth with it, and I'm in the meeting with my brother, and so I had asked him some questions because I was very excited about it, because I know that one person can do so much, but 2 people doesn't just multiply by 2, you can almost multiply by 10 with extra people. With one single person, there's a lot of statistics that will walk you through that, a lot of studies that have been done, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, so I'm very excited about the prospect of hiring this person. And then I messaged her and I said, congratulations, you got the job. Like, let me get your email set up and we'll do an onboarding call. She was like, okay, great, perfect. Put together, and then I called my brother because my mind freaked out. I was super excited about the hire and bringing somebody on. And then my mind was like, well, what about the self-employment tax? What about the workers' comp? What about the insurance and the liability? What about this? What about that? What about blah, 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 blah. Like, just a litany of things to be concerned about that I could have easily been like, stop, we're not actually hiring somebody. However, I called my brother and I said, hey, here's what's coming up for me. What realistically do I need to do for this salesperson? And he said, well, because it's a sales position and it's commission based, he said, you set them up as a 1099 employee. I was like, sweet, perfect, familiar with that. I do that with some of my subcontractors already. So it was perfect. And so that really helped. I said, okay, so then what do I, like, how do I cover myself in this situation? He said, well, you need to put together a contract for this. I said, all right, great. Now, because my brother has the experience of this, I trust the process of this all. Now, am I going to screw something up? Yes, possibly. There's going to be something that I don't cover or that I did wrong, but that's not going to stop me from bringing on a team member. Very excited about this process, right? Now, here is the caveat of that, right? Is that oftentimes we will talk ourselves out of things because of all the what ifs that we don't know about. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if blah, 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 right? Now, all of those things could happen, for sure. Are they likely? Maybe not any more likely than anything else, right? But what are you choosing to focus on in that moment? And this was something that I actually fell asleep to last night, was thinking about, what is it that you're focusing on? Are you focusing on the negative what ifs? The what if it goes wrong? What if this? What if this? What if this? Because that sets my nervous system into a tizzy. Or am I spending some time focusing on the things that could go right with this new hire? And 100% focused on the things that could go right. She sent me a message and I immediately knew that this was the person for the position. One of the questions that she asked, and I answered it, and her response, I knew immediately, that was it. This is who we're hiring. This is where we're going. And it was not a typical interview process where, yes, she sent me her resume, but did we actually have a phone call ahead of time? No. Am I going to for my next hire? Yes, possibly. But I knew that in this moment, that was who I was going with. Now, I did have to have a conversation with my business partner, aka my husband, and talk him through this to just get a sign off on it, because he is my business partner. Yes, I do run most of the show on this business, but he is my business partner. And so we did have that conversation. Hey, thinking about hiring this person, what kind of questions should I have? Where are we going with it? What do you want to do? Is this acceptable? And a lot of his deferment was, well, what did your brother say? That's fine. We're learning things as we go. And that's the beauty of it, right? I was actually just reading this the other day. Where did I read it in? I've lost where I've read it in, but it was about how progress over perfection, right? If I was waiting for the exact right moment, I would never do 95% of the things that I've done, because it's not the moment that has to be perfect, right? Like, that's not the thing. It's about taking that step forward and moving. And that's where we're at, right? So absolutely an emotional roller coaster of entrepreneurship. I've been feeling it day in and day out, in that I am sleeping a bit more, because I can feel the emotional impact. And so I think I'm going to have to, I didn't work out the last couple of days, so maybe I need to get back into that tomorrow morning. Spitballing with you right now. So just, I know that I did sleep a little bit later the last couple of days, and so maybe I need to work out to move that energy a bit faster so that I'm not so heavy when I wake up in the morning. Just some thoughts. So yes, moving through new hires can be an absolute mind trip, especially in entrepreneurship, right? We're like, I don't know, can we afford it? Blah, 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 right? Like, and my husband and I did the math on this, and it didn't make sense not to. So we're very excited about this. I'm meeting with my marketing team to get her email set up and then onboarded, and it's going to be amazing. Very excited, especially because I already know her, and we went to school together, and so that makes it that much easier, I think. We'll find out. Who knows? Who knows? It could be a total train wreck, but I don't believe it's going to. I really do believe, and I know that it is the next step, whether it's lesson, whether it's an income, right? Like, whatever it is. That was one thing that I learned years ago, right? You're either going to earn a paycheck or you're going to earn a lesson. And some of those lessons cost you a little bit of money. Others give you a whole lot of money. And when you can frame it that way, especially as a business owner, you're like, oh, yep, okay, screwed that one up. That one cost me $600. Okay, cool, great, right? Screwed that one up. That one cost me $35, right? Like, there's always that learning process along the way. And that adaptability is really going to benefit you in that world of entrepreneurship. So I hope that you are having an amazing rest of your day. And if you have questions, anything about the mindset work that you're going through as an entrepreneur, I would love to have a conversation with you. I do have space available for a couple of private clients. Probably not going to open up any more spaces until the fall, simply because I want the flexibility to be with my kids. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.